Hey everybody, Bob here and welcome to another Making Stuff video. Today I'm going to be starting a new CNC project, and that is cleaning up all of the wiring and upgrading the electronics on that CNC plasma cutter that I built about a year ago. In that video, I made my own power supply using a transformer, a capacitor, and a bridge rectifier, and I also used a very old breakout board that had the CNC or the stepper motor drivers built in onto the board. So it was an all-in-one board. Now that board used an LPT printer port, which is hard to find on modern computers, so I really want to upgrade all of this. Now what I would like to do is use more modern switching power supplies and also use updated stepper motor drivers like the DM556 that I recently did a review on. So I'd also like to take all of these updated electronics and put them in their own separate enclosure on the side of the machine that has a door that I can open, and if I need to get in there and replace or repair something, it's very easy to access it. Now to do this, I'm going to do it budget friendly, and instead of using an expensive enclosure cabinet, I'm going to use something that I found on Amazon, which I'll show you here in just a minute. So let's head on over to the workbench and get started. Okay, so here's how I plan to build this CNC enclosure. I'm going to mount all of my electronics, the power supplies, on this piece of aluminum that I bought on Amazon. And then I'm also going to put some of this wire conduit down the center of the piece of aluminum, and that will allow me to run all of the wires inside of this conduit and not have a big mess of wires hanging out all over the place. Then I'm also going to mount the control card and a relay board all on this piece of aluminum. And for the enclosure, I'm going to be using this ammo crate that I picked up on Amazon for $20, which is a whole lot cheaper than the $150 enclosures that I found that were made specifically for putting electrical devices and electronics in. Now, why did I choose an ammo crate? Well, it is, like I said, $20, which is a $130 difference, but it also has these locking latches on the side, and since it's made for putting ammo in, it is watertight, and it has this O-ring seal around the lid. Now, I know what a lot of you guys are thinking, well, that $130 enclosure is a lot more rigid, and plus it doesn't have all these little patterns, like right here on the lid and down inside here. So what I'm going to do is I think I can work around that. I can mount everything I want to mount and work around all these little patterns in here, and the piece of aluminum will fit down in here quite nicely. And what I'll do is I'm going to put some standoffs on the aluminum to raise it up off of the plastic, and then mount all the electronics in here, and then drill holes in the sides to run all the wires and switches and everything else that I want to mount on this enclosure. So I'm going to try this first for $20. I figured it was worth a try. We'll see how well it works, and if it doesn't work, I can always go to the more expensive enclosure. Okay, so to get started, I need to figure out how I'm going to mount everything on the board and make it all fit. And I think what I'm going to do is put the power supplies on in this orientation, then add the stepper motors, like so. And then that will give me enough room to put the control board here. And then over here I've got room to put a small relay board and a couple of other little small items that I want to mount on the board. That also leaves me enough room to use this wiring conduit to put it right down the center, and I can run all the wires through here and keep everything nice and neat. So what I'm going to do is for the stepper motor drivers, I'm going to drill and tap these holes so that I can access it from the front. But on the power supplies, the mounts are on the bottom, so that means I'm going to have to run a screw through the bottom of the plate and into these screw holes on the power supply. So those won't be drilled and tapped, those will just be drilled. Alright, so I've got all of my holes drilled and tapped, and I did do this off camera because I know watching me do all of that would have been pretty boring. So it's all done, and all the holes are tapped with the exception of the power supply holes, because the power supply has its own threaded insert on the power supply itself. So I had to make sure those holes lined up perfectly, and the way I did that was I took this paper template and I taped it onto the power supply and then just traced over where the holes were with a pencil. Then I used that as a template because when you trace over it with the pencil, it shows you where the hole is at. And I used the center punch and just used that to tap the holes here with that center punch to mark where each hole needed to be drilled, and that worked perfect. It all lines up. So I've got my plate all done. Now it's time to start mounting some stuff to it. Alright, so I have got the stepper motor drivers, the power supplies, and the little wire channel. It's all mounted on this piece of aluminum, and you can see that the holes and everything all lined up really nice on mounting this. So before I mount my control board here, I want to drill the holes in the ammo crate on the corners here so I can mount this board inside the ammo crate. Alright, so I took 4 of these little standoffs like this one here, and I mounted one in each corner of the ammo crate and lined the holes up before I drilled with the holes I had in this panel. And now everything looks like it will line up and mount like so. So now I'm ready to mount the panel inside the crate. So now that I have mounted everything on the aluminum plate and also done a test fit inside of the ammo crate box, the next step I'm going to do is run the wiring. Now I'm going to start by running wiring from the power supplies to the motor drivers and also from the controller card to the motor drivers. And I'm going to run that wiring through this conduit here so I can keep everything nice and clean. Now for the power wires, I'm going to put crimp ends on one end of the wire, and then I'm going to leave the other end open because this end is going to go into the screw terminals on the stepper motor driver. And to strip and crimp these wires, I am going to be using this crimper and stripper set that I got from banggood.com. It comes with a stripper that allows me to strip the installation from the end of a piece of wire, and it also has a crimper that allows me to crimp connectors onto the end of a piece of wire. Now the crimper also has these extra dies that come with the kit that allow me to crimp all sorts of connectors onto the ends of wires. So if you're interested in this kit, I've got a link in the description, and I got it from banggood.com. So here are the power supplies, the control board, and the stepper motors. They're all wired up, and running all of the wires through that conduit has made it really clean install here. I don't have a whole bunch of wires running all over the place, and it doesn't look like a big bowl of spaghetti. So now what I want to do is I want to install this panel mount fuse, this cable gland, and this power switch so that I can get power to these power supplies and fire everything up and make sure that it works. Okay, so I've got the mains voltage all wired in. This is coming in from the AC voltage out of the house current, and you can see it's all wired into the power supplies. So I'm going to turn this on, and you can see all 4 of the power LEDs came on the stepper motor driver, so that's good. The one thing that's kind of annoying is the readout. These are variable output power supplies, and the readout that tells me how many volts they're set to, you can only see it in between this little crack here and here between the wall of the ammo crate. So it would be nice to be able to see this with the lid closed, and also it would be nice to see how many amps are being pulled out of each power supply. So I've got a solution for that I'm going to show you guys right now. And to monitor the voltage and the amps from those power supplies, I'm going to use 2 of these little panel mount meters. And there's really not a whole lot of room for error when cutting the holes. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a bezel that I can mount on here and then have these fit in the bezel. That way if I have to recut a new bezel, I can do that. Whereas if I just cut a hole in the case and I cut it too big, I'll have to go get another case. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount everything right here in the center. And the reason for that is that will allow me to work around these patterns here on the lid of the ammo crate. All right, so here's everything installed. I've got the bezel, I've got the panel meters installed into it. And as you can see, I've got the power on and the power supplies, I've got them set at 30 volts, and they're not showing any type of amperage right now because there is no load on those power supplies or the stepper motor drivers. Okay, so at this point I have hooked up everything that I need to test this box out, and I have used the same connectors that I used on the CNC Plasma machine. So what I have done is I have unhooked those motors out of the original CNC Plasma machine. I have plugged them into my ammo crate box, and now I'm going to use Linux 2.9 to test everything out and make sure I at least get some movement out of the gantry. Now I am using Linux 2.9, and if you can see here down at the bottom, I'm using a configuration called PlasmaC, which has this all built in for a torch height controller and float switch, and if you're using an ohmatic sensor, all of that's right here. And one of the features I like about this is you can turn the torch off and you can still run your G-code sort of like a test. That's something I couldn't do on my old setup. And there's also some tabs up here that have to do with setting up the settings on the CNC Plasma, the torch height controller. So this is a very good program. It looks, like I said, I haven't used it yet, but it looks to be a whole lot better than that THC Toma that I was using on the old machine. Now there's nothing wrong with that old configuration. It does work, but this gives you a lot more built in, and it's a little bit easier to set up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load some G-code in here, and then I'm going to head over to the table, and we'll just see if we can get the gantry to move in all the right directions. Okay, so I've got this all set up. I've got the torch. It's probably about 3 inches off of the surface here. And like I said, I don't have the THC or the touch probe or any of that hooked up. So I've got Linux 2.9 set in a test mode. So this should just move the torch around. The Z-axis should move up and down. And if everything's hooked up right, it should be good to go. So I'm going to start it right now. And it looks like everything's working right. The X-axes are moving in the right directions. The Y is moving and the Z is going up and down. So it looks like everything's wired correctly using the stepper motor drivers and the power supplies. So now what I need to do is hook up the limit switches, my proximity switches, and get all of that set up so that the machine will auto square. And I also need to hook up the torch height controller and get all that talking to this new LinuxCNC, and then this project should be done. So that's all the time I've got for now. I am waiting on a few parts to be delivered, so there will be a part 2 to this video, and in that part I'm going to hook up the limit switches, the proximity switches, then I can auto square the gantry and get that torch height controller hooked up, and then I should have this project completed. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give me that big thumbs up, and if you're not a subscriber, please consider hitting that subscribe button and ringing that notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming Making Stuff videos, and thanks for watching.